did that sort of surprise you here, or do you think Empire did consider that it was still in the pool and that they feel that they do have heroes to deal with the Wraith King?
I mean, we haven't seen Wraithing much in the last 2 days, but we saw it a ton the first day. So it surprised me a bit that it kind of popped up once again. But it is still very effective at laning. It can't be pressured very much compared to most heroes, and it should be semi-successful against like the Pugna potential Clockwork lane.
Now, we'll see if we have any moves from sort of the setups in the lanes. I'm going to have Sayu coming up to take the bouncy rune away from him. He's going to be able to grab it. So 3 runes to start for Empire. I'll give him
a little expensive. He's going to lose a lot of his regen from this, and he went boots Tango, so good luck getting in lane anytime soon.
Oh, and well, he might just die here. A save. He's able to hit another stun. They're actually going to be able to get the kill. So 3 runes going the way of Empire, but VP able to find that first blood with the excellent sort of chase and catch those 2 heroes have together at level 1.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. Oracle heads back to the bot lane. On the bright side for Clock, at least he's going to have full HP and still have his items. So not the worst, but obviously very good. Not good that Oracle's going to be able to get a faster boots of speed.
Interesting to see how this mid matchup is going to go down. Of course, GPK definitely the more well-known of the players here in this matchup, and sort of as it goes with the heroes, Void Spirit versus Bat. How do you sort of expect this lane to go down?
I mean, Void Spirit's definitely going to be able to get last hits for the first couple levels, but just gets a little scarier once Bat Rider picks up like level 3, level 4. Then Void Spirit has to be ready to use Dissimulate to get out of dangerous situations, basically. But worst case scenario, he gets level 6 and he can go ganking around the map. Bat Rider can obviously push lanes, but they both have options, and I don't really expect GPK to feed in this lane. He's a very, very good player.
Yeah, and in terms of the side lanes, where is the feeding the most likely to happen? Like when you sort of look at the setups, who's in the scariest position the soonest in this sort of game?
Trying to get me to do the observer's job, huh? I get it. All right. Let's see. I think Lion has to be a little careful. I think Grimstroke is most likely to get killed in this lane. I think the dual off lane for Empire, the Pugna plus Clockwork, unless they catch Oracle by himself, I don't really see a kill happening here. Wraith King's not going to get pressured very much. So I guess the Radiant off lane and the Dire safe lane is most likely where we see a kill. But obviously the Void Spirit Bat Rider could go bad if there are good plays.
Yeah, and in terms of sort of how both teams are going to be able to take objectives, I mean, I imagine, you know, with the lineups that they do have, it's a little easier for Empire, right? With sort of this Pugna, you know, having the Jug for the healing ward, sort of this ability to group up and take objectives, whereas VP, they don't necessarily have the best tower hitters, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Wraith King obviously is very good at pressuring the map, even if he's not there with his skeletons. But because their opponents have decent tower hitters, good tower pressure, they've got really good lane push, and they also have a Bat Rider, which is going to make it harder to defend some of these towers. It absolutely should be a little easier for Empire to take buildings. But on the opposite side, they're still going to have an Oracle sitting behind their tower pushers. Tide is not going to have to worry too much about initiation, so they've got good things going for them as well.
Yeah, and I guess that's sort of the strengths that VP do have, having heroes as that Tide and the Oracle. You know, they've got plenty of ways to sort of set up, you know, just having Tide come in, just stand in front of a tower and having solid backup to make sure that they don't allow Empire to get away with any of the early objectives when Empire do start to group up and hunt for the action. CCS at the moment across the lanes. VP coming out slightly ahead. Pretty much in every single lane of it. The mid lane in particular being the one where there's the biggest difference. GPK coming out solidly on top it. 19 for 6 against the 13 for 1 on Gwyn's Bat as bottom. An attempt onto Tushira, but so each time with the cogs, we'll be able to provide good safety, make it just a little hard for Kingslayer and Nightfall to really close the gap on the Pugna at the moment. Not that Nightfall's going to be too concerned. He's more than happy just continue to focus on the creeps and doesn't need to spend any time chasing for kills, as he does indeed still stand at the top CS at the moment.
Yep, this is the nicest thing about having a Clockwork with these like ranged interiors who normally can just get ran at, but getting past cogs is just so difficult, so it makes it a lot harder. we had GPK with this nice last hitting advantage, a lot more base damage than Batrider, so he can contest last hits, but also use Resonant Pulse to secure other ones. So he's been pretty ready to engage. He's saving a skill point as well in case he needs to use Dissimulate to stay alive from a go from Batrider. So far, having a really good laning stage.
Yeah, and I guess when it sort of comes to the mid, it's like are either side, do they sort of have mobile supports? Because for the most part, I mean, we did see Sayers sort of come over towards the mid lane, but he didn't continue to chase in and actually go for any action.
Yeah.
Can either team sort of make any rotation to sort of break up this a bit of a stalemate we're having early on? You know, 5 minutes in, only one kill, and that one kill, of course, being before the creeps had even spawned. No actual sort of hunting happening yet in this match.
Yeah, you're right. Rotations are a little hard. Like Clockwork roamed mid to check Rune, of course, and he's going to be able to help contest bounty runes. Big fight top, though. There's that line going down. Yeah,
that's the combo that's going to be all very strong at this early stage with the Inkswell and the Blade Fury. Empire having very solid ways of getting in on top of the line in these positions where he's just going to find himself a little too out of position, trying to hold that area and set up for the bounty rune. Wasn't to be the case, as they will finally break the bit of peace and quiet that we have had for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. So yeah, these rotations are a bit tough. Grimstroke and Lion certainly the most vulnerable potentially, but a nice healing ward's going to heal them back up, and they should be able to pretty easily get these last hits under towers. Don't see any stacks yet for Tide, so he's going to just stick in his lane most likely, try to limit Jug's farming, and this is usually where you have an advantage, where his mana gets low. So you can just contest every last hit he wants to go through by lowering his damage, and it makes it a little bit hard for the Jug to play. Go on mid.
We'll see a bit of attention around that, especially around the 6-minute point. Got the setup, and the two supports moving in perfectly there, really synchronized. Yeah, from both sides, just pincering in and locking him down.
And the fact that he Aether Remnant's in the middle of a creep wave, I don't think Bat expected that. If he doesn't land that disable, it's a little bit harder to get that grab because it would have taken Oracle throwing his Fortune's End with Line following up, but getting that initiation at the perfect time was excellent there. And the Dire Wards, they did have that ward spotting mid, so might have spotted the Lion, but almost certainly he gets out of that if GPK doesn't land the disable, so it's just really well done.
Top lane. Try and turn and trade back onto DM here with the Blade Fury Inkswell, but a TP comes into play straight away. GPK is ready to turn around the action. They know as soon as Smiling Knight uses the Blade Fury aggressively, GPK's just there immediately. He knows that that's an easy kill for him to find.
Really cool itemization on the Tide as well. He bought a bracer like normal, but he also got a really fast cloak. He knows that his kill threats are magic damage. Jug spin, Inkswell, Grimstroke nukes, that is going to allow him to survive through those moments, and that's why they're ready to capitalize on that. So really smart, fast item pickup here by the Tide.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see sort of what Smiling Knight does after that sort of series of events, because it just goes to show that he can kind of never really play aggressive in that top lane with the Blade Fury. If they're not 100% sure that GPK hasn't got his TP up and is going to be able to react, he's definitely going to have to play a lot safer now in this top, and unable to really look to continue to try and push for action with that Inkswell Blade Fury combo now that the levels are up on VP's heroes.
I'm contesting him once again, and that's the scary part. That they can go in line, but against Tide, not so much.
Yeah.
Here's the disable. Not that much mana on Tide, though. Cannot do a Ravage here, but we're going to be very pleased to take an extra 10 gold away from the Phantom being killed. Grimstroke's trying to sit behind him and stabilize him, but this is the danger zone here. This, because Tide is pretty safe, it's going to allow a line to roam, and maybe go on mid.
All right, starting to look towards Gwyn. Going to have the setup here. Remnant into the rune, of course, save. He's still got a stun to go. GPK grabbing up the DD rune, and they've certainly got the damage to take down Gwyn. There's 8 minutes in, 4-1. Coming to a 2 to 3k lead already here for VP as they're off to a very hot start, and GPK in particular is he's on track to have a very quick orchid this game on the mid Void Spirit.
Those ganks have just been so effective, and this is partially because they have such strong cores that can sit in these lanes. They don't necessarily need the supports to always be there. And as a result, it produces 2 huge kills on the Batrider, the guy that's supposed to create action on the Empire side. If not Batrider, who's going to do it later? Pugna can sometimes do this if he gets Aether Lens at a good time, but against like Void Spirit or even Wraith King who have escapes, it's not looking good for Empire if the Bat's going to get off to a really rough start.
Yeah, for sure. Gwynny, if he sort of goes down another time in this lane, it's going to be a very hard game for him to recover. We'll see how safe he does want to play. He's 1,300 into the recipe for his bots. He's certainly going to do his best to get that done before he finds himself in any sort of action that the VP have been doing a good job at bringing towards him so far. Of course, this is all giving space for Nightfall down bottom, 2,200 gold in towards the Relic. Looking to hit a solid timing with that, and unless Empire is able to make some sort of move. They do have Seiyu and Eknart coming down here together, but it feels like it's going to be hard for these three heroes to really kill Nightfall, especially with this reincarnation up and the likelihood that VP, they will react if they do come searching for the Wraith King.
Just a stray skeleton ends up spotting out the Grimstroke rotation here. Not that the ward didn't see them coming too, but they're going to sit around pressuring the tower, give them something to do, but the faster that this Orchid comes out, everything just gets really dangerous for the Empire side, especially if you get Void Spirit on top of Juggernaut and get a silence off before he uses any skills. That's probably the biggest way to get destroyed in this game, is this Orchid timing and successful ganks afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, you know, with the Jug, he's going to be a long way from having any sort of Dispel. Is going for the standard, that Bat of Fury build-up, but will leave him incredibly vulnerable against that sort of single target silence that GPK is going to have, especially when you consider his lineup, the team around him. Nobody's really got any sort of saves. Sure, a defensive Decrepify could be offered, but it's not like the VP don't have good magical burst save. Once he's hit the 6, Jug's going to get blown up sometimes if the finger's up and a Decrepify is being used in an attempt to keep him safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lion's levels are a little behind here. He's just a little bit over 5 at just past the 10-minute mark. But giving Oracle that ulti with the tome was just more important, because this is going to help offset and make sure that GPK doesn't die in a moment like this.
I'll see what Empire can get here. They really need to make a big hit with the smoke. TP's already coming in from VP, though. They're going to have the numbers, and they're prepared for this action. Who's going to start it off? Eknart tries with the Phantom's Embrace, but GPK, he actually jumps straight across him. Looks to go into the middle of all the action where the 4 heroes are standing. But now Empire down a member. They've got to be careful. Seiyu laying down the cogs, trying to get out, but GPK is able to close him with the step and dissimulate. Blows up another. I mean, DM, he's actually going to have to enjoy quite a bit of time on the cliff. He's up there for a full minute, Purge.
Yeah, that's not very good. A little too early for a first step from an ally too.
Oh, I mean, this is sort of the handicap that was needed. You know, Empire, they might not have killed anyone, but Tide is on the cliff for a minute. That's got to be worth something.
I mean, but the downside is you're still up 3k net worth on the VP side. I kind of feel like they could have killed the Batrider line, ended up using his Hex to grab the Clockwork, but Clockwork wasn't 6 yet, so in hindsight, maybe better to secure the Bat kill. But they still have Finger of Death ready to go, and that's why they're smoking and going for a kill. They got Orchid too. Anybody in the game dies this, except for maybe like a Tide Hunter type hero, but certainly everybody on Empire side's got to be scared.
And they might not, you don't expect this when the Tide's on a cliff. Now the question, I wonder, can Empire set up to, do you try and keep this Tide up here? Can you sort of prepare for in a minute, when he is going to have the TP back up? We'll see. It looks like they won't be able to do so as DM. He's going to have the TP back up now, so he will finally manage to leave the solitude of the cliff. Meanwhile, over in the jungle of Empire, Save out alone. Empire will be able to take down that Lion. No trouble at all.
Yeah, this is the issue with Line 4. You have tons of disable, but your movement speed is definitely way below average, and you are very squishy. But you have really powerful abilities to compensate for that. So a normal 4 might be able to get out of that kind of danger by standing in position, but he cannot. And the problem is he can't stand behind his team on the other side of the river, because if he is, then he's not in a position to use his important disable. So you kind of have to put yourself in these dangerous areas when you play a Lion like this. But on the bright side, Tide is back on the map finally. His opponents did not know that he was up there, so eventually gets back into farming. And his net worth still sitting fine, but that definitely cost him a couple hundred net worth.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. Knocked him down a little bit. Of course, though, for him and the team, not too many worries on VP, as both GPK and Nightfall just continue to hit some excellent timings on these items. Nightfall, Radiance is going to be done within the minute.
That's so fast, actually. It's incredible speed. So Radiance finished for him. Void Spirit's also top net worth with the Orchid. We haven't seen him getting a kill with it just yet. But importantly, this is buying time for Tide to pick up a Blink Dagger. That's kind of what they needed in that last team fight. Going mid, though.
And Nightfall, he's ready to start some action. Starts to run down the Pugna. TP's coming in.
Cool. Haven't seen Mech that much lately. It ended up becoming a lot worse when it didn't provide armor aura, so we saw a lot less as like typical offlane heroes. But this game, it's a nice way actually to take these like squishy int heroes and make them better against with survivability. You get this armor aura with Buckler, you pick up a Greaves, and now all the HP that he has is going to go way farther and make him less of a vulnerability. He won't just die instantly to every initiation, as we just saw there.
And after that, a bit of a showing from VP around mid to stop Empire from getting in. I'm going to have Empire go towards DM top. He's very tanky here with the Hood, but they have got a lot of heroes.
The perfect counter, though. Phantom's Embrace that does not get removed by Kraken Shell. So with that skill, no reflection from Tide to stop his death from coming there.
I'm still going to see VP try and make a move despite losing the Tide as save. Smoked up behind Nightfall. Nightfall, of course, as we say, with this Radiance already done, ready to battle. So they're going to keep the pressure on this mid tower. And looks like Empire are just going to let this go, not feeling confident that they can do anything right now to push back this approach from VP.
How they invade with that tier 1 dead, they're going to feel really confident to move through, especially with their already set up wards here. Void Spirit looking for anybody. If he spots them, he's going to go. So Grimstroke's got to be careful. But Grimstroke also wants to fight potentially. Team rotating back over there. They got hook shot. They're a little low in mana for clock, but they'll be fine. They'll be able to defend. Let's see if they can get the D wards. This is a really important moment here when your opponents do leave your jungle like this. But I think the other ward is going to stay just out of that sentry range.
Yeah, perfectly placed. Getting but it looks like pretty much the full duration out of it. VP. As they'll look back over towards the mid. I mean, again, Empire just sort of moving as four, making sure that they are securing space for Jog to get his Battle Fury done. And it is there. So Smiling Knight, he's got his farming item. We'll see if he can sort of step up to the pace of Nightfall's farm on the Radiance Wraith King. Mid lane, jumps made. In onto the Pugna.
Oh my god.
No chance there.
So much damage. I mean, he had Greaves, so he got to remove the Orchid, but then the problem is that what do you got afterwards? They have tons of magic damage still with the Oracle showing up in position, so these wards just giving them all the gives that they want. They spot their opponents, they can initiate. That's all they need to do. Slow the game down. Jug does have Battle Fury now, but his net worth is behind Wraith Kings. Generally, Wraith Kings are able to stay like keep even in farm speed with Battle Fury type heroes due to all of the advantages you get from the skeletons. So as long as VP keeps the pressure up, they should be able to hold this advantage, but it will still come down to like later game stages of the fights. But with Tide having Blink Dagger, I don't really see their initiations being weak.
Obviously down bottom, GPK. He's gone in aggressively onto Smiling Knight. Hookshot's going to be dodged very nicely by GPK as with the haste rune he's able to continue to run. Gwyn, he's looking for the lasso. He'll be able to lock it down onto the Oracle, so they'll get at least Kingslayer out of this. But they won't be able to catch anything more as GPK is able to disengage. So it is something, but it is just a support.
Very cheeky play there from the Oracle. He used the Shadow Amulet to be invisible, and what he was waiting for was a lasso. I'm not here, you guys can't see me, nobody can initiate on me, but then the random Flame Break that was meant for Void Spirit pushes him out of it, and then he gets killed. It's pretty funny.
And Empire will get another one out of this. Save still hanging around in the jungle whilst Empire continue to sweep across. And both supports taken out. Again, a little bit of distraction really as Nightfall continues to get a lot of space on this top half of the map, already having the Sange done over the Radiance. Smiling Knight will come in to hold the defense, continuing to try and do his best to catch up with the Wraith King. I mean,
Empire's doing a great job though. I mean, considering the fact that Void Spirit had the Orchid so early, like he hasn't died since he got the Orchid, but it definitely feels like his impact has been underwhelming from what we expected.
No, for sure, yeah, hasn't really been able to find Smiling Knight in a position where that early Orchid has really caused huge issues for the Jug. As Smiling Knight consistently in positions, even when we did see GPK make that move on him down bottom with the Orchid, where it was unlikely that anything other than the Void Spirit would have been able to get to him in time, and it was the case. It's the Void Spirit alone, just not quite doing enough damage as a solo hero to take this Jug from 100 to 0.
And most of the advantage that's coming from all these skirmishes is wards. And if you look at the map, there's a stupid abundance of sentry wards for both sides. They know that vision is everything here between opponents like Batrider, Clock. On the Radiant side, obviously, Void Spirit's looking for any heroes he can find with Orchid. Tied with Blink now is obviously going to look for an initiation. So here's the replay of that gank. He did as much damage as he could through the Orchid, and it got him kind of low. But if not for this Observer ward, he definitely dies. Maybe not definitely. Yeah, probably gets caught, lassoed for sure. In some ways, it would have been better if that happened, because then Oracle would have removed the lasso, and maybe that would have bought him time to get some return damage, but or escape, for example. But either way, Virtus.pro is continuing their map pressure with their vision. They're going to definitely work at this tier 2 on the top lane. It's only got 1,000 HP left, and that's going to open up shrines and make it even harder for Empire to ever spend any time in their own jungle. And by proxy, then it gives VP this massive Rosh advantage, because then they've got both of their towers close to Rosh up, so, and then they would control the shrine there. They could easily buy back and take fights there, and then all they need to do is maneuver Empire towards the bottom side of the map. Then they can all go top and take Rosh easily. So the game is still looking pretty good with for VP with this gold advantage that they have.
Now, the thing is for Empire that they obviously do have some pretty cool combos to play around with the soul binds, the lassos. Is this sort of something that VP is going to be very scared of as a lineup, or do they have sort of sufficient counterplays to that sort of combo that Empire is going to try and bring to them?
I think the obvious way to deal with it is just to initiate first. If your opponents do find... There's a BKB on Batrider, so he's pretty protected against like a Ravage initiation, but if they can grab a Soulbind double lasso, yeah, it's going to be really bad for VP. They've only got one way to offset that, and that's going to be like Blink Ravage or Oracle spells. So, but again, it's all about positioning.
See down bottom, Gwyn.
Duels.
Yeah, not quite.
Use duels to set that one up.
And the Empire's got to be a bit careful. VP, they're sweeping right round, seeing if they can catch them on the retreat. Jump in with Ravage. It will clip onto the clock, but Gwyn, quick with the BKB, out with the TP. Say might still be in a bit of trouble here, but he's got the hook shot. He's underneath the tower, and VP, they won't be able to chase any further. So a nice disengage there from Empire. Ravage down, nobody losing any life really for it. Just a BKB charge down the drain, and Gwyn's more than happy to spend that to keep himself alive.
Yeah, and actually, importantly, this wasn't the worst for VP. They should be able to get this tier 1 tower, and they got the tier 2 top already. They got the shrine too, so no experience bonus from shrines coming. VP gets map control. They're going to invade the tri-camp now.
Not GPK. He's straight up. He's going to be able to find the Yule setup. Phantom's Embrace coming over, but he's able to dodge it with the Dissimulate. They look to burst through the clock first. They'll be able to get him. Sayu goes down. DM forcing back the rest of them as Smiling Knight can't really find a good target to commit him with the Omni Slash, so has to continue to hold it. Empire, they'll take the rest of them out of that. Only losing the clock on the front, but still it's VP again continuing to just grow their advantage. DD Rune also spawning top. VP certainly could look to get something achieved with that.
GPK is doing such a good job leveraging his high net worth in such aggressive ways. He jumps in, spots enemies. He knows that if they go on him, he's relatively safe. He had duels. He's even got an Essence Ring as well, so his survivability is like massive at this point in the game. And because Bad didn't have BKB, realistically, it's not going to be easy for him to initiate. And GPK crucially saved his Orchid in that fight too, so that things got a little bit hairy. After that initiation, he could always ideally prevent Batrider from going in. But here they go. They're going to smoke and try to take this fight, knowing they're roaching.
I mean, if they can find the timing with the jump, Gwyn can get in there, roll forward with the BKB, and get a lasso. It could set something good up. VP playing it smart, though. As soon as they know that Empire's hunting, they back out of the pit. They don't want to look to overcommit. They know that even if they leave this area for sort of split back up, it's incredibly unlikely that Empire's lineup of heroes is able to get into the Roche pit and really take it themselves, so VP can play relaxed.
It's not worth it until they have Ravage anyways. 20 seconds to go, then they'll have a better chance to fight to the death. They'll lose the tier 1 for sure, unless they initiate on Pugna right now. He's going to blast this down. So mid tower will fall, giving a little bit more map control for Empire, but still the net worth advantage is creeping more and more towards VP. They have more threats on the map. Their heroes are harder to kill generally. SNY finished now on Wraith King, just to reduce the amount of disable he's going to be hit with, either from decreps or from lassos. So definitely going to make it easier for him to avoid being kited constantly in this game.
Looking at sort of the way that the GPK is continuing to spend his net worth, he's soon to have the boots to travel done, and do you like sort of the fact that he's getting this rather early this game as the Void Spirit?
I like it this game, especially because his opponents have kind of limited disables. And as a result, like between Astral Step and a Yule Scepter, he should be able to avoid everything mostly. And just having BOTs is going to allow him to just constantly outrun the guys with weaker disables like Pugna, or chase down heroes like Grimstroke who can't defend themselves well. So, and split push advantages too.
We're going to see Roshan, VP are going for it. They also look to make the jump over towards Sayu. Then Yu is scouting on the high ground, looking for an opportunity to get him with the hook shot. They'll blow him up quickly. Sayu goes down. Empire now just with the 4 of them. It's going to be very hard to sort of get back over here. Roshan down to half HP. Without Clock, sort of their best initiator right now. Not really too much Empire can do about this, and they're just going to split up, try and take what they can from the map whilst they know that VP's in it, but have no intention of actually trying to fight VP with their Clock down.
Yep, they wanted to for sure, but GPK once again leveraging the lack of disables. He's sitting aggressive, his smoke breaks, and he just jumps, knowing that he's going to be able to initiate on somebody and probably survive afterwards. If they have better disables on the Empire side and they could actually react to this Void Spirit, it would be less scary for them to take that engagement. But everybody on VP reacts correctly. The smoke breaks, everybody leaves the pit, they get the 1 kill, then they finish Roach, knowing their opponents can't contest at that point. So the farm advantage continues.
We see Smiling Knight just about to finish the Manta. I mean, as sort of the Jug in this game, do things ever sort of get any better in terms of the matchups, or is it always going to be a hard game against a Wraith King that's the sort of an item ahead of you?
It's definitely going to be hard for the obvious fact that Omni Slash is like your big team fight skill, and he's got his ulti, so ideally what you want to do is Omni Slash the backlines if possible, like I'm talking the supports ideally, or to Omni Slash a guy that's lassoed, that way you can finish him off for that initiation, but that's going to come down to his teammates playing effectively, and the fact that he has to buy Manta afterwards is completely on the fact that his opponents have Orchid and good disables to deal with him, so he's got a kind of dangerous game, especially once Save's got his Blink Dagger now online as well, so he's got to be very careful about spinning at the right time or initiating. I wouldn't be surprised. He's going to go Ags to allow him to jump in, but I was thinking maybe Blink Dagger as well. He needs a way to be able to jump in, do damage without being disabled on the way in, either by Ravage or Save or the Void Spirit even. So it's a tough game for Jug this game for sure. I felt a little surprised when he ended up getting picked there in that 4th phase against the Tide.
Yeah, because so far, I mean, he's been able to farm, you know, decently. Of course, nothing near to the level of Nightfall, but other than that, it's not really been able to achieve too much. Not really seen any opportunities for him to get any early action with any of the Omni Slashes. To the point I don't even know if he's used it at all really this game. It just hasn't happened.
Either.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily do amazing against Tide, at least once Tide picks up the cloak in lane and survives like he did. It doesn't do that great in the other hero matchups. Obviously, he didn't know that the Wraith King was coming, but just makes the game really hard here for the Empire side to take engagements. Block on the map, but almost for sure going to die for this.
Yeah, easy setup. Sayu losing his life yet again, continues to have a pretty rough game on the clock. 0, 5, and 1. Just hasn't been able to achieve too much at all, apart from just sort of I guess, dying for his team, but definitely nothing more than that this game.
He gave Pugna a better lane. That was the best thing that he's accomplished for sure, that Pugna did not get behind him. Pugna's sitting 2-1 and 2. He's got Greaves and he's got Aether Lens, but it's a little too hard for them to take engagements. The Clockwork 6 came pretty late and later than they needed. They needed fights by then. Barrett had a below average game due to those nice ganks, so it's just all cascaded into VP having this big advantage right now.
Yeah, VP starting to take a poke at the high ground hit. And we'll see. GPK is going to head out towards the top lane. Let's push that out. They don't want to try and go for the high ground siege yet. Still got 2 minutes left on the Aegis to make moves.
Really early gem picked up, by the way, on the Tide here. I also love the pipe that he's picked up. His opponents, they have great counter push, but it's all nukes. And they've done this a couple times. They're just piping skeletons while they hit buildings because they know it's going to make them get 100 more damage in before they end up falling. So they've got great items to control the map here. 10k gold advantage now on the VP side, while Empire struggles to get map control.
I mean, and it's, as you said, with that pipe, the thing is, even if Empire are able to get some sort of soulbind 2-man lasso, are they actually going to have the damage to kill any of these heroes when they're locked down?
Yeah, it feels really hard now, especially like Pugna is all about dealing magic damage. Barrier's really good against Decrepify because it blocks the damage before it's amplified by anything. So pipe across the board is going to help counteract. Pugna is definitely going to help against Batrider, it kind of comes down to Omni Slash, and while Jug is doing okay net worth, he's 5k behind the Wraith King now. So, and he's getting Ags afterwards, so he's just dealing damage with Battle Fury and Manta Style. Like, maybe he'll get a really good neutral item that'll help amp his damage up, but I'm not feeling it right now.
Oh, we see the step up straight away there. As, will they'll actually be able to keep him alive, or maybe not. The final Astral Step for GPK does get the kill done. He turns over towards Pugna, and that'll be another silence in with the Orchid. No escape for Patushara, as VP just taking what they want here. It's just so hard for Empire to fight whilst they're down 12-5, 12k lead. And GPK, look at him, just aggressively jumping up into the base. He knows that he's not going to get punished for this. The setup's there. Ravage to follow up for DM. Catches onto the three of them. They take down Gwynblind. Smiling Knight trying to spin away with the Blade Fury. He will manage to make it out of there and away from this aggression of VP. VP more than happy to turn their attention over towards the tier 3. Well, I should say that they're going to be a little careful with Tide being as low as he is. GPK Aegis is now expired, but as you can see, still full HP and full mana, of course, thanks to that Aegis regeneration.
They're just playing it super safe. Ravage gets used. Batrider not fearing the chain stun that came out there. He didn't want to pop BKB after Yule's ended. If he did and they didn't go in, it just would have been awful for him, right? BKB's down, now we can't fight. But they burn everything. In some ways, this is better. They lose their hero, but their rack stays alive. But it's really just buying VP more time to control the whole map and compound this net worth advantage that they have. So, game's still looking bad here.
Oh, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, Empire, this sort of lineup, when it comes to sort of defending the base, I guess, you know, if they can get sort of a lasso and get someone in nice and deep under the tier 4s, there's an opportunity. But other than that, holding the high ground, it doesn't necessarily seem like their lineup's going to come into a different sort of element at that point of the game.
This illusion just revealed their smoke. Empire playing on high octane, knowing they're behind. Use the Phantom's Embrace on an illusion without smoke being broke. So now they know. Let's see if they get a good fight with this. Just no Ravage for 60, but can they grab the right person?
I mean, Gwyn's in with the BKB. He's looking for a target. He will finally manage to lasso the Oracle. Omni Slash coming out, but it's just not got the damage to back it up. They do at least find one. They'll get Kingslayer. But now, Smiling Knight, he's got to get on the retreat. Nightfall DM, they're able to jump in, get themselves on top of Patushara. Over towards Gwynblind and Smiling Knight they go. Gwynblind able to find the blink in time. To outside. It's just another one. Yes, Sayu going down. VP just so strong right now. 15k lead and just growing by the 1,000 every minute as it seems. This Abyssal Blade is going to be done very shortly for Nightfall.
They're doing so good. I mean, it was arguably an okay initiation. Batrider wanted to target the Oracle. If he does not, then his ulti gets countered, but had some vision issues there. And eventually does lasso him. They get the kill, but it took basically everything, including Omni Slash, to pick off that support. And Pugna ends up getting worked down eventually too. So tough fight there for Empire. And that was without Ravage, by the way. So it's only going to get worse from here, especially if their opponents initiate. So VP weathering the storm there. And we'll see if they can get more picks. Nightfall is going to find some here.
Quick jump onto Eknar.
Owen, how did that Swift Slash give you a lot of confidence in Empire's ability to win this game?
I mean, it's a Swift Slash into a Swift Death from Jug as Smiling Light is gone. And we might be seeing the G's. Yep, there we have it. There we have it. This was a rough one. It was anticipated to be a rather one-sided match.